Hey, beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. And we are about to get into BET Presents the Encore, Season 1, Episode 6, Demons in Division. So the episode starts with Keely being the narrator and just saying some words because basically, do we really care what Keely has to say? She's talking about how a girl group basically implodes. And I'm sure she knows it will probably start with some KFC, right, Keely? But you guys, Keely is not doing herself any favors being on this show because in that confessional, she looked like the only thing that came to mind was Booger Wolf. I'm sorry. She really did. She looked a horrible, horrible mess. And she's not, again, she's not doing herself any favors being on this show, doing nothing, giving nothing, and just looking like a spare tire. So Misha and Pam are in the kitchen, and it looks like Misha's doing dishes or maybe washing her hands for a really long time. But she's saying how Misha was upset with her the night before because she didn't feel like she had her back. And she, I guess, proceeds to try to, make up with her by giving her compliments. She compliments her dress, she compliments her hair, and then Misha comes over and she touches her back and her stomach like she's gonna give her a hug. And she's like, "Oh, no, I'm not gonna hug you." I'm like, "No, unhand Pam. Unhand her. She doesn't play that." But she's like, "I owe you an apology and I'm sorry." And Pam is like, "No, we're all good. It's all love." So Felicia comes in and she sees them making up. And in the confessional, she goes, Misha loves to start a fight with people and argue with people. And then later on, she apologizes. So basically, she's going to get out what she wants to say to you. And then she'll just make up for it by apologizing later. And I'm like, that is her and her sister's MO. And it has been since they've been here. How many times have we seen them start some shit and then come back and say, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." So she says it makes her kind of confused as to what's real with Misha, the fight or the apology. So now Pam and Aubrey sits down at the dining room table and they're talking about who may come from their band. And Aubrey's asking her if she thinks both band members will come. And she's like, "I really don't know." And Aubrey's like, "I'll be so jealous if they come." And Pam is like, "Well, I don't know because it's been like 4 years since we spoke." So basically, she hit a rough patch and ended up getting, off of social media and just kind of going ghost on everyone. So she tells Aubrey, "Well, they may have gotten somebody from your band to come." And Aubrey's like, "No, no, I doubt it, no." Aubrey says it's fine because she knows how to take hits. She knows how to take bulldozers. She's used to it. Sob story. She says her perspective of the listening party is it's not the best that they can do and it's not going to be exciting. It's not going to be good. So she's not looking forward to it at all. God damn it, this girl gets on my nerves. She says she feels as though the twins are pretty much ganging up on her and they've put themselves in a position to pretty much be needed, like they're doing everything. And she said, "Well, if you are putting yourself in a position to do everything, then you would need to know how to make a sound for everyone, not just you guys." And she said, "In a minute, I'm just going to leave it alone. And you know who's going to suffer? The records. So you guys really, really need Aubrey. You didn't even know, but you need Aubrey." She says, and if she leaves, then they're going to sell as many records as Cherish did. So Pam gives her a woman empowerment speech and yada yada. It's all good. Then we have Ghetto Sita calling them all into the room so that she can speak to them. And as they come in, Nivea and Shamari has on hats and glasses, and she's like, "The hats have entered the room," and they did look cute, even though Shamari looked a little bit like Curious George's guy with that really, really big yellow hat. She looked cute, but she could have just pulled it down a little bit. So Sid reminds them that they have a listening party tonight and, it's about to go down and they have some veterans in the game that's coming. And it seems like nobody knows who's coming, pretty much. I'm sure Shamari knows that Ronnie is coming. But yeah, nobody knows who's coming. And then Misha says, "Well, it kind of snuck up on them, this listening party." And I'm like, did it? We don't know how many days in this is, though, you guys. But it didn't sneak up on you because we knew last week. So you've been knowing at least a week. So she says things are still not mixed and they're not done. And it's all on the twins. And I'm like, huh? But she says that since they put themselves in the position to be over everything, then they need to be over it. The twins, at least one of the twins, say that they're a little nervous about what's going on, and she's just trying to keep her head in the game and not do all that arguing right now. So now all the ladies are in the studio and they're trying to figure out the order in which they're going to do the sets. And they come up with Go Don't Leave should be first. And one of the twins says, we don't have it. Cosign has it. It's not here. And they're like, he took it? And they're going back and forth. And then finally, Shamari's like, let me just call him. And I'm like, thank you. It's that simple. So one of the twins calls and she's like, yeah, we need the song. Can you send it? He's like, yeah. And she's like, well, can you send it now? And he's like, yeah. Like, Jesus. So Felicia's playing Bird's Eye View, and Fallon's like, what's going on with the sound? And she's like, well, this is Cosign's thing or whatever, and I took mine out so that he can, help tweak it and everything. And she's like, no, put yours back in. And when they play hers, it really did sound so much better, you guys. So they decided to keep hers. Everybody in the group agreed. They were bobbing and, oh, this is it. Don't use his, use hers. So he sends over Go Don't Leave, and they're listening to it, and everybody's like, it sounds off. Like something's weird. Something's going on. And they all agree it's dry, and they say, no, we're not playing his version. We're not playing this. So Nivea said they like Felicia's version of that song better. So that's two songs. Two songs that Cosign has touched that the girls actually like the twins better. So we have the guests coming in, and we have Brandy from Black there. We have Mila from 702 there. They have a couple of singers, songwriters, and producers coming in as well. Kima from Total does show up, and so does Jazzy Faye and another guy. So as we've seen, Ronnie DeVoe comes with all kinds of bears and balloons and buckets of flowers. I'm like, did he get that from the people selling them on the street and just say, give me the whole bucket? And I think it's sweet though. He's there for his wife. So Pam sees Kima and she's trying to give her a pound. And Kima's like, give me a hug. So they hug and they have a really touching moment with Kima saying, listen, I don't care about the group. I care about you and the fact that you blocked me from everything and I couldn't call and check on you. Like, that's the issue. But then she did say something about we should be out here getting this money. So Pam said that they, she was upset that she left the group and she just felt like God was calling her in a different direction. But it was a very touching moment. So they hadn't seen each other in 4.5 to 5 years. So one of the twins says how, I think it was Fallon, says how neither one of her sisters from Cherish showed up, and she said it's fine. She knew they probably wouldn't be there. They're busy. She said the only other person from Cherish she would want to be there is her sister, and she's there, so she's good. Then we have Keely introducing the band, and she left on this little moo thing. Yeah, Keely is just a waste of space at this point. So they start playing the records and the ladies are up there. They're barely dancing or moving or anything. And Jazzy Faye and Ronnie kind of talking to each other and then they stop it. They like, yo, what the heck is going on? Y'all not performing. We don't feel anything. Y'all look like y'all not feeling it. So how do you guys feel like other people are going to connect with this if y'all not making them hear it? Y'all not doing anything. So they start performing Skeletons, and the twins are up first, and they start, performing so that the guys could know who's singing and who's doing what. And Aubrey's like, yeah, so since the twins want to be the stars of the show, they want to be the Beyoncés, then just say that and do that. Be the Beyoncés. I'm not feeling it. She's just a Debbie Downer. So now they do the gospel song and Pamela's performing and Nivea's like, I love this song. And she's like, Aubrey's on the song too, but she's not doing anything. Like, you guys, Aubrey didn't move. She didn't perform. She didn't sing. She didn't say a word. And Nivea's like, I don't understand. She's like, even if you're not feeling it, you don't just give up and do nothing. So now they're doing talking. And you guys, I love Nivea's outfit, what she has on. I think she looks really cute. And also she killed that song. She, I guess, was the one that came out the gates with talking and she killed it. Then Irish is saying, yeah, I'm in this group. And she's like, you see my eyes, right? They're going side to side. She's embarrassed. And she, too, just like Aubrey, she's not moving away from the table. So Mila from 702 is speaking in her white suit. She looks really cute too, you guys. And she's saying how proud of the girl she is, Irish and Misha, because they're doing something on their own and they really deserve it. And Misha's saying how they had issues within the group and she's very happy that Mila's there. So Bird's Eye View is the last song that they do. And after they do it, everyone's clapping. All the guests say they love it. One of the guys lets them know that, look, this could be something special if you guys just stick with it. And Aubrey says, I disagree. And so she's in the confessional once again, just kind of dogging it, saying how you have all these really talented women. However, they've not scratched the surface and they don't have the sound of a group because they're not a group. So Pam and Kima sit down and have a heart to heart. And Kima's like, what are you doing here? She's like, you're here trying to start a super group when we were a super group. Like, why are you here? And she says she's there not so much to start a super group, but because she feels like she's on assignment and God sent her there. And Kima tells her that, it really hurt when she left Total and she just kind of left them. And Pam says, yeah, a lot of people didn't understand what I had to do, but I felt that's what I had to do. She said even my own family was upset about it. Kima says, well, do you remember when you told us I am the Beyonce of the group? And she says, no. Pam says, no, she don't remember. But Kima says, yeah, you told us that. So again, they go back to how, she was just upset and no one understood why she left, but she needed to leave and she had to do what was best for her. So my thought about that is maybe it was best for her to go ahead and leave the group. If she had gotten so big-headed that she could run around saying that she's the Beyonce of the group, then they may have been headed in a very bad direction. So it was probably for the best that they got out when they did. So Ivory's talking to some guy named Stone, and she's complaining about the girls and her treatment. He gives her a hug and leaves. So she's in the confessional stating how they pretty much did nothing and it's not a good group and it's not worth all of the sickness, she says. Then we have the 702 girls talking and Mila, is it Mila? Yeah, Mila is telling them, again, how happy she is and how they sound good. And then Irish just all of a sudden turns to her sister and is like, yeah, so when we were in the studio, who was doing all the complaining about not having parts, but she has the most parts to sing? And her sister's like, Shamari. And Mila says, oh, okay, this is group stuff. And she's like, yeah, that's why I couldn't deal with the group or whatever. And they're like, yeah, I can't stand them. And she's like, you know what? At least it sounded good. So my whole thing is, you guys have a decent show. You have all of these people out. They're giving you kudos for the song sounding good. And then when you guys break off into different groups, you go and shit on each other. And to me, that just kind of takes away from everything. Like if I was there and liked it, that would take away from everything. So Irish continues on saying how embarrassed she was because she only had like 4 lines. And Mila says, well, it was so many girls and so much going on. We weren't even thinking about that. Like you couldn't even tell that you didn't have, enough lines. And Misha's like, look, this is the same thing we went through in the girl group or whatever. It sounds eerily similar to what we were going through. And she's like, today is just not the day. But she said that in confessional. She didn't say that to her sister. So Irish is like, well, I'm done. I want to just be on a plane. And Misha says, look, that's my sister, but that's not my twin. We don't think alike. We do things separate. So she goes one way, I go another way. She says the twins taught her how to be a better sister. And I don't know how, but all right, Misha. So after the party, the ladies are in the kitchen talking, and Misha says, listen, I'm going to tell y'all that Irish is still not really happy. And Keely, looking a mess as usual, says something about being there and everybody's here for a reason. And Misha says, look, I'm going to play devil's advocate and just say that there's sometimes when Irish is fine and she's not there. We can't find her. So she kind of threw her sister under the bus a little bit, but she said, fair is fair. She said she got to, keep that same energy for everybody. Shamari says that she understands why Irish will be upset because if she had only been relegated to like 2 lines, she would be upset as well. So we have Aubrey, and she's taking off or putting on her shoes, and you guys, she is swollen. Why is she swollen like a pregnant woman? And I'm not clowning her for being bigger, but her bigger just seems different. She just looks like her face hurts. Everything looks just very uncomfortable, and her feet were really, really swollen. But she's going on this tirade about how she, is trying to figure out what she wants to do because she's tired of being disrespected. She's tired of going back and forth. She's tired of being disrespected by, or bossed around rather, by a child. And then they show when the twin is in there asking her about the records. And she's like, put some respect on my name. My group sold way more than Cherish. And I can't name one Danity Kane song, you guys. I'm sure a lot of you can, but I can't. I don't know one song that they made. Next, we see a truck driving away from the house. And my whole thing is this. Who cares if Aubrey left? Don't care. However, I just think she should have at least said bye. Or, I mean, it doesn't matter. Of course, they're going to try to tell you, no, you should stay. But if your mind is made up and you're a grown up, like you said, you just want to show them that you're a grown ass woman, then stand on your shit and say, no, I'm leaving. But bye. I mean, say something. I just think it's rude, and she's rude, and I'm glad I don't have to deal with her. As if I was having to deal with her. Then you have Keely running around asking everybody as if she is really concerned. She don't give a shit. She don't care about that girl. She's happy that Aubrey is gone. So she's running. And notice, now that Aubrey's gone, Keely really is trying to act like she's the creative director or whatever. And even when Aubrey was there, when they were doing the listening party, she's trying to take over because Aubrey was just dialed out at that time. Aubrey was not about it. So she wasn't saying anything. She wasn't giving any pushback. So Keely was able to attempt to step up. Still don't know what she did other than announce the girls, but she tried. So she's going around telling everybody that Aubrey's gone. So what? So Nivea's talking to Keely, and then she's in the confessional saying that she thought if anyone left, it would have been her. Because, of course, she's the only one that's not been in a girl group, and she figured that maybe it would get to her. But she said that the fact that Aubrey left is kind of picking at her because she just feels like, what's up with that? Like, can anybody leave? And I'm like, girl, yeah, you're not being held hostage. If you want to leave, leave. Then Pam comes in, and Nivea's telling her that Aubrey's gone. I'm freaking out. Aubrey's gone. What are you freaking out for? Like, girl, calm down. And Pam is like, she's gone? Oh my gosh, she's gone. So in the confessional, she's like, well, if Aubrey left, that's a shame because she's such a vital, intricate part of this group. And I'm like, is she? Is she? Because the last I heard, she was having issues with her pitch, and they wanted to totally take her out of one of the songs. So how vital is she? So they tell Fallon, and she's like, yeah, I don't care. She's just being dramatic. I don't care. And she's like, I'm not going to fall for it. I have no empathy for her. And, basically, I'm too smart to care at this point. And Lamisha and Irish, like, yeah. And I'm like, basically, those two girls just agree with whoever they are in the room with at that time. That's what I figured out about them. So all the girls are in the studio redoing Aubrey's parts, and they tell Shamira that... Is it Shamira? I don't know why I be thinking I'm messing up these girls' names all the time. But they tell her that she's gone, and she's like, oh, I just really enjoyed Aubrey, and we performed yesterday. I didn't see Aubrey perform yesterday, you guys. Maybe it was just me. Maybe it was the way it was edited, but I didn't see her move from the table. So maybe I missed something. But that dreadlock wig that Shamari has on in that confessional is a fool, and she should never wear it again. So we have Cosign, the choreographer, and the vocal coach coming over. And Felicia says she can't wait to speak to Cosign because she feels like when he's not around, she's picking up all his slack and she's doing everything, and he's not giving her any kind of respect. He thinks that the only time work is getting done is when he's there, and that's just not the case. So they tell Cosign and all of them that Aubrey has left, and they don't seem too affected. And so they're going over Bird's Eye View and they're playing Felicia's version. And Cosign tells him to turn it off. And she's like, don't tell them to cut my song. And he's like, it's the wrong version. She's like, it's my song. I'll tell them if it's the wrong version. He says, calm down, kid. So they're listening to the record, and Shamari is in there being just over dramatic as usual. And just in the middle of it playing, he's like, you throw it off, you throw it off. And Felicia's like, cut the record for a second, Abe. And she's like, what are you saying? And the way she's talking to him, yeah, I like the twins. Y'all know I like the twins because I do feel like a lot of the times they're right. I just don't like the way they approach people and talk to people. And I feel like she wanted all the smoke with him. She was on 10 when he came through the door, and now she's about to act an ass in front of everybody, which I think is inappropriate. If you got something to say to him, take him to the side and say it. But all of this is just too much in front of everybody. So number one, two, what is Cosign saying? Throw it off. What is that? Throw it off. What is he saying? And she's like, yeah, I'm throw it off because it's too much bass. And he's like, do she look throw it off while she over there dancing to it? What is throw it off, y'all? So Felicia's like, I'm trying to figure out when I told you I gave a fuck. Y'all, they are unreal. So she says, that's the version that we went with yesterday. And don't get mad at me because you were late. And my whole thing is, you guys, where was Cosign and Elijah yesterday during the listening party? You guys are the producers. Shouldn't you be there? Why aren't you there? Shouldn't you be working the music and everything, making sure everything sounds okay? Yeah, I think the twins have a valid concern about the fact that they were not brought in as producers. However, they are producing everything. And as much as the women try to fight them on the fact that they're trying to take over, it seems that they like the twins' version over Cosign's version of all the records. So she tells him, work has been getting done without you. And he says, with me too. And she says, listen, I didn't come at you the wrong way, so you don't come at me the wrong way talking about being thrown off. And he's like, relax, babe, or something he called her. And then Keely decides to jump in. So Keely tells him to stop telling women to relax. And she's like, I hate when men tell women to relax, and that toxic masculinity and the babe and honey and all that. I just can't stand it. And I'm like, I just can't stand your wig and the fact that you just throw it on your goddamn head without brushing it. Okay, you're wearing a wig. That's fine. But can't you just brush it? Brush that shit out. So Felicia is snapping on him, and she's asking about the go don't leave. And he's like, I have it. And she's like, well, who has the stems? He's like, I sent them over. She says, to who? He's like, I don't know. Isn't it your job to know who you sending it to and who's getting it? No, I leave it on the computer and that's it. And she's like, yeah, basically you act like that's all you have to do, and it's not. He's like, listen, this job isn't, or this project isn't due yet, so I don't have to have any masters done yet or anything. So yeah, basically it sounds like to me that he is just he knows that it's not due yet, so he's dragging his feet, taking his time, and these girls are really trying to make it happen, and just so happen to have other writer and producers in there, which would be the twins, and so they're moving way faster than he is, and he don't care. As long as he comes when he comes, and Todd and Carlos King still paying him, that's all he cares about at this point. But she's snapping off. He says, it's done when I'm done working on it. And she's like, no, it's not done when you're done working on it. It's done when I'm done working on it. He says, in this house, I'm the producer. She says, no, in this house, I'm the fucking producer. So Keely says, she's the producer in this house. He says, we're the producers in this house, shorty. And she's like, just because you keep saying it doesn't make it true. And don't call me shorty. Who are you, Keely? And why do you have anything to say right now? This has nothing to do with you. Nothing that goes on in this house has anything to do with you. So why are you speaking? He tells them to go look at his Wikipedia page, which anyone can update and, add and delete from. And they tell him they don't care about the Wikipedia page. And she asks, where's the finished track? She's like, I haven't heard it. So she's going around the room. Have you? He's just like, So Felicia says, I don't have time to wait on you. And he says, well, you're going to make time. And she's like, you can leave. And all the girls, their eyes just get big. So she tells him, you can either get with the program, are we going to work together, or are you going to continue to be a chauvinistic bastard? And if so, then you can leave. And she gets up and she says that she just thinks that he's, intimidated by women with big dick energy, which he has. And I'm like, girl, that's not cute. Don't say that no more. But she says he's just intimidated by the fact that she can do his job. That is where the episode leaves off, you guys. So I will see you next week for episode, I think it's 7. Thank you for coming back. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. Smooches.